Hello, these notes are for section P1b, the second half of P1. Number 1, use inequality notation to describe the set. X is negative will be X is less than 0. The interval notation for that is a parenthesis with negative infinity, comma, 0, and then another parenthesis. X is at least 10, you're going to do X is greater than or equal to 10. The interval notation will be a square bracket because we are including the 10, and then positive infinity. The infinities always have a parenthesis next to them. Absolute value is the distance from 0 on a number line, so the absolute value of 7 is 7. The absolute value of negative 7 is also 7, and the absolute value of 0 is 0. For number 6, we'll leave the negative 8 alone in the numerator. In the denominator, the absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8, and so that whole fraction simplifies to negative 1. For number 7, we have negative 3 times the absolute value of negative 3, which would be positive 3, and then that is equal to negative 9. For number 8, it's the opposite of the absolute value of negative 5, so it ends up to be negative 5. Number 9, the absolute value of negative 3 is 3, and the opposite of the absolute value of negative 3 is negative 3, and so the symbol that goes in between is a greater than sign. For number 10, negative absolute value of negative 2 would be negative 2, and then the opposite of the absolute value of 2 is also negative 2. So for this one, the two expressions are equal. Number 11, the distance between 2 points. I need you to please draw a number line here. And we're going to go ahead and put a negative 4 on this number line. And also a negative 3/2. So we've got 2 points on the number line. We will call the negative 4 point A and the negative 3/4 point B. And the distance between the 2 points is the difference between the 2 points. So we'll take the absolute value of the difference, which is negative 3/4 minus negative 4. That gives you the absolute value of negative 3/4 plus 4. And negative 3/4 plus 4 is going to be 3 1/4. And the absolute value of that is 3 1/4. So the distance between the 2 points is 3 1/4. Number 12, use the absolute value notation to describe the situation. Part A, the distance between x and negative 10 is at least 6. So that means you're going to need absolute value bars. The distance between x and negative 10 is the difference between those, so x minus negative 10 or x plus 10. This distance is at least 6, so it has to be greater than or equal to 6. For part B, y is at most 2 units from A. So again, we have absolute value, and we want the distance between y and a, so y minus a, and that distance is at most 2, so it has to be less than or equal to 2. The distance cannot be anything more than 2. Terms of the expression. Terms are separated by addition and subtraction signs. So the terms here are 3x squared, negative 8x, and negative 11. Number 14, we're going to substitute negative 1 for x. So we have the opposite of negative 1 squared plus 5 times negative 1 minus 4. And then just follow the order of operations and work that through. Powers come first, so this is the opposite of positive 1. And then 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Working left to right, negative 1 and negative 5 is negative 6, and negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. On the back page, you have properties. The commutative property of addition is a plus b equals b plus a. The commutative property of multiplication is a times b equals b times a. The associative property, a plus parenthesis b plus c, close parenthesis, equals parenthesis a plus b, close parenthesis, plus c. This blank column out here on the side, we're going to fill that in when you get to class, so just leave that blank for right now. Associative property of multiplication, a times parenthesis b times c equals parenthesis ab, close parenthesis, times c. Distributive property, a times b plus c, close parenthesis, equals a times b plus a times c. The additive identity says that when you add 0 to any number, you get that same number. The multiplicative identity says when you multiply by 1, you get the same number. Additive inverse, when you add opposites, you get 0. And the multiplicative inverse, when you multiply by reciprocals, you get 1. So that says a times 1 over a equals 1. Number 15, the property there is multiplicative inverse. Number 16 is the additive inverse. Order of operations. When you have a fraction, you need to do the numerator and the denominator first. This is going to be 15 minus 0 over 5. Right here, when you have 0 in the numerator, that is equal to 0. So this whole thing is just 15. Okay, you can remember that because it's okay to have 0 in the numerator, but no way can you have 0 in the denominator. That is undefined. Number 18, 10 over 11ths plus 6 over 33 minus 13 over 66. Your common denominator there is going to be 66. So we'll multiply this first fraction by 6 over 6, and we'll multiply the second fraction by 2 over 2. 60 over 66 plus 12 over 66 minus 13 over 66. 60 plus 12 is 72. And 72 minus 13 is 59. Finally, number 19. When we divide fractions, we take the reciprocal of the divisor and multiply it. So we're going to rewrite this as a multiplication problem. And if you want to, you can actually simplify before you multiply. 4 goes into 16 4 times. So you end up with 11 in the numerator, and 4 times 3 is 12 in the denominator.